You can establish and manage an EU company online from anywhere using an Estonian government-issued digital identity card like this one. This one's mine. And wherever you are in the world, you can get one of these by applying for e-residency of Estonia so that you can also run a company fully online from anywhere. Hello, my name is Adam Rang and I work in Unicount as Communications Director. And this is actually my kitchen where I do most of my work these days. And you know, some of the world's greatest businesses were built from garages, basements, or kitchen counters like this one. And now even more people are working from home. Fortunately, that's never been easier, thanks to new digital services to help with everything from business banking to hiring and managing remote teams. But what about establishing and managing the actual company? Well, that's a service that governments provide. And, you know, governments tend to be a little bit slower when it comes to this kind of thing. But not here in Estonia. We can establish and manage an EU company online from anywhere using one of our government-issued digital identities. And wherever you are in the world, you can do the same by applying for e-residency of Estonia. Once you've got your card, let me show you how to use it to start your company. Unicount offers a super easy way to start an Estonian company through our self-service online portal. And with the help of our tutorial videos and our online chat support, you can also set up an Estonian limited company with a virtual office in about 5 minutes or less. All you need is an Estonian digital ID or smart ID, which you can get as a citizen, resident, or if you're watching this, you're most interested in, e-resident of Estonia. And in this masterclass video, we'll share our tips to those of you who would like to register a company in Estonia. We want to give away as much help and advice as we can because we aim to make our clients self-sufficient in how they run their businesses. And you can also read lots of advice for running your business on our website, which is unicount.eu. The most common business type used by Estonian e-residents and residents is a limited company, which we call also Hing, or OU for short, in Estonian. You know, Estonians have been able to register a company online for more than a decade. And so like most younger entrepreneurs here don't even remember doing it any other way. And a limited company means it's a separate legal entity to you with its own separate finances and your personal liability is limited. So for example, if your company goes bankrupt and it's a limited company, then you don't personally go bankrupt. And whether you use the state's company formation portal or the company formation service that Unicount has built using the state's API, you need to fill in some basic information about yourself and your company to get it registered. Private service providers using the Business Register API might charge a bit more to cover the fees they pay to the business register and to payment processors, but in return, you get their support and bundled offers such as the mandatory virtual office and contact person service. And Unicount has the easiest formation service on the market so far. It lets you register a company in about 5 minutes or less. The first thing you need is a name for your company. You should come up with a good name using the Latin alphabet. Numbers and special characters are not allowed. And be aware that your company name must be unique and clearly distinguishable. There can be no overlap with other existing companies and registered trademarks. On top of that, you probably want to check that the social media handles and domain names are free too, and make sure you get them registered. And it's easy to check if your desired company name is available by going to the Unicount web app, which checks your name against Estonian business names and registered EU trademarks. Now, technically, you can proceed with company formation even when there are similar names or trademarks found, but we really don't advise this because, you know, you might get into a lot of problems in future. But a refusal of your name would be communicated to you via a court PDF document, which would be written in Estonian. But if your company name was rejected by the court, you can change the company formation application online and resubmit it with a newly proposed name. We often get asked how you can be sure that your name will be accepted. Well, there's no way to know in advance if the company name will be accepted or not. The court clerks make their own subjective decisions. They also check the field of activity code when similar names are asked to ensure that it's not overlapping, particularly with a company in the same field of activity. So sometimes it might pay off to choose a distant field of activity when you see a possible similar name or trademark. And trademark classes are also compared against your planned field of activity when the court has doubts. Choosing your main area of activity might be the second hardest part of starting your company after finding a non-conflicting name. So you'll see in the Unicount web app that it's easy to select the area of activity from a drop-down list of the most popular choices used by other Estonian e-residents and citizens. If you need to search for additional codes, then you can see a full list just using the text search function. So just pick the activity which corresponds most closely with your planned source of revenue. It's good to know that there are no restrictions on activity in other areas besides the one you selected, even though you can only select one during the registration. And after that, well, you can't really change your field of activity, but your field of activity will be automatically detected and changed from your annual report based on which activity generated the most revenue for you. And please keep in mind that some areas are subject to special requirements and require specific activity licenses, which you need to obtain before starting to trade in those areas. Currently, Estonian limited companies still need to have a minimum share capital of €2,500. This isn't a fee, it's just an amount that you have to invest into your own company to be used by your company. And this amount of equity should be preserved at all times. It's a bit of an outdated rule, but it does need to be, you do need to check that before the annual report balance date. The good news is that you can actually register a company online without making that minimum share capital contribution. This is because Estonia's commercial code since 2011 allows you to postpone share capital payment. This only actually works until you would like to distribute dividends or if you have to go through bankruptcy proceedings, because then shareholders would be required to pay up the missing share capital. Before that, though, you can start a company, you can start trading, you can start taking a wage without having to contribute the share capital. And when you do want to pay share capital, please keep in mind that it should be paid to the company business account from the personal accounts of the shareholders. And we have a detailed manual on our website at unicount.eu to explain how to do that. All Estonian limited companies registered through Unicount have the same standard articles of association. And when using the government portal, you can actually play around and edit the articles, but you should have a good reason for doing so. We've noticed that sometimes companies with multiple founders want to add special clauses, but without any real need for it. For example, specifying that shareholders get dividend payments or voting rights equal to their share of the company isn't actually necessary, because you only need special clauses if someone gets non-standard treatment. And mostly this is needed when startups have, a multitude of investors. You can read the English translation of the standard articles of association on our website. Every Estonian company owned and managed by an e-resident must have a registered office address and contact person in Estonia. We have a very transparent business environment, so this is really important for ensuring Estonian companies are accountable and trusted. Therefore, if you as a board member do not live in Estonia, you can only register a company by appointing a licensed contact person. Unicount provides e-resident founders with a virtual office address and contact person service as a bundle when doing your online formation. You would also see contact person details on your company registration certificate. Now, the only role of a licensed contact person is to act as a messenger between you and Estonian authorities. They have no legal rights to sign or decide anything on behalf of your company. They certainly don't own any of your company. You, as a founder, are the sole owner and management board member of your company. After you have submitted your application online, it goes to the court. And the court will review your application and make a decision about whether to register the company or whether to demand changes to the application. And this usually takes about 1 business day, after which a notification is sent to you by email. If your initial application gets rejected, it's most probably because your company name is too similar to another registered company name or trademark. Don't worry though, you can try again with a different name without having to pay anything extra. Just follow the deadlines set by the court so that you don't lose your state fee. Also, be aware that the email and phone numbers that you submit for the company during registration are public afterwards. So you might get some spam there, unfortunately. Unicount protects client data and does not reveal your actual email to the public register, though, when using the contact person service. Once you receive your company registration notification, you'll probably be wondering about what are all the steps to do next. Well, actually, there's no mandatory tax number you need to apply for, and technically you can start trading immediately. You just need to get that business bank account open. So we recommend kind of starting with TransferWise as the easiest way to get going. And you only need to register for VAT in Estonia when your annual taxable turnover goes past 40,000 euros. But if you have any doubts at all about your tax liabilities, we recommend that you speak to a qualified accountant or tax advisor before starting. Now, about the fees. So, company formation via Unicount costs 225 euros, which includes the 190 euro state fee. The government portal lets you get away with paying 190 euros, just the state fee, but you need to wire the money to the government and wait for them to process it. You can't use card payments there. So it could take some days before your wired money gets linked to your application. Now for Unicount, we charge slightly more, but Unicount doesn't actually make any money here because our slightly higher cost just covers the API and payment processor fees. Founders like Unicount because they like the simplicity of the service. The annual virtual office with the contact person service is 179 euros. So that 179 euros would be the only annual expense you would need before you then need to start doing monthly accounting and tax reporting in Estonia. So that need would arise when you get registered for VAT in Estonia or when you employ people. Otherwise, you just need to submit an annual report each year by 30th of June. Unicount actually provides a free manual for how to do that for a dormant company. If your company is trading, then just let a professional accountant do the report for you. Unicount doesn't provide accounting itself, but we recommend Palace & Partners, a really good accounting firm based here in Estonia. Some founders also ask us before registration about bank accounts, particularly whether Unicount can help open one in Estonia. But the banks have their own policies for onboarding clients, and service providers don't get a say in that. The good news is that there is a wide range of choice available, not just from banks in Estonia, but also fintech banking providers across Europe. You could even use a bank in your own country. Now, at the moment, none of the banks operating in Estonia open business accounts to e-residents without an in-person visit to Estonia. But if you can visit Estonia, we would suggest applying for an account with LHV or LHV, which is a very popular Estonian bank. I actually use it myself. And you can apply for that after you've registered your company, but only afterwards. The fastest way to get a business account online, though, is by using a fintech company such as TransferWise, which is also from Estonia. They offer Belgian IBAN accounts, which will work for your Estonian company. Now, if during this process of applying for a business account, you're asked for proof of address of your company, you might actually just do okay with an electronic registration certificate or a certificate showing shareholder information. And you can generate these PDF documents for free yourself via the Estonian Business Register. TransferWise doesn't actually require proof of address from Estonian limited companies. Be sure to choose a EEA licensed fintech that can issue a digitally signed proof of share capital deposit. You would need this document later when registering your share capital. And TransferWise is capable of issuing share capital deposit certificates with the necessary digital signature. Thank you for watching our masterclass about company formation in Estonia. If you already do have your e-resident card, then what are you waiting for? You can join eEstonia by registering a company online in about 5 minutes. So we wish you all the best and good luck building your online business.